Kanina mga kababayan, merong isang pasabog na balita, mga kababayan. Ano 'to, hindi ko alam, kung paano kung anong hindi ko alam paano mag-react dito, guys, promise. Hindi ko alam. I'm happy but at the same time I'm scared, oo. Um, Kasi ito na lang, pag-usapan na lang natin agad-agad. Eto kasi mga kababayan, nasabi, US and allies ay the Philippines to host facility for ammunition production. Ayan! Ay! Diyos ko. Actually, hindi naman ako kontra dito. Oo, hindi ko pa lang alam pa anong mafe-feel ko dito. Ang iniisip ko lang, ay, wow, magmumura ang bala sa Pilipinas. Siyempre, dahil paminsan-minsan nagpa-firing range tayo, naisip ko, ay, magmumura ang bala. Sana maglabas din sila sa private, sa private sector. Oo. Kasi para mag-enjoy naman ako ng mahal kasi ng bala, guys. 5 piso isa. Syempre, kapag nagko-firing range ka, hindi ka naman, 'di ba? Hindi lang naman isa ang gagawin mo diyan. Oo. Hindi lang naman isa ang gagawin mo diyan, natural. O di sa 10, meron ka ng 50. Oh. Sa isang box, ilang row ba 'yun? 1 2 3 4 500. 10 10 row 'yun sa isang box 500 agad. Mm. Oo. So, ayun. Ano na? Napanood ko sa live ni Attorney Claire Finlex yung bigay mong tsaki na keychain. Sorry naman. Ay, natutuwa naman ako doon. Happy ako dyan, Yusek. I hope you're happy too. Alam niyo ba kung ano nangyari doon? Ito, kwento ko lang Kwento ko lang kung paano ko nakuha yung tsaki na yon. Kasi, nagpunta ako ng China, ng Japan. Pagpunta namin ng Japan, ng pamilya ko, no? Yung mga anak ko, na-addict sila sa gashapon. Alam niyo yung gashapon? Sa mga hindi po alam yung gashapon, para siyang, di ba nung kabataan natin, merong yung lalaglagan mo ng barya at ikot mo, makakuha ka ng gambol. O, iikot mong ganun. Oo. Ganun yung gashapon. Pero ang laman niya, mga toys na maliliit. So, ang nangyari, ang daming gashapon, ang daming stand. May nakita akong gashapon na ang laman niya, puro tawag dito, puro mga horror movie na characters. So, nandun si Jason Voorhees, si Bride of Chucky, si Chucky nandun, sino ba yung isa, yung nasusunog, yung sa panaginip lang. I forgot his name. Tsaka yung puro pako sa mukha, andun din, yan. Si Freddy Krueger, yan. Tsaka yung puro pako sa mukha, andun din. So, nung nakita ko, sabi ko, ay, gusto ko mag-gashapon. Sana makuha ko si Chucky, bibigay ko kay Yusek. Oo. Sabi ko, sana makuha ko si Chucky tapos ibibigay ko kay Yusek, pang papasalubong ko sa kanya. Sabi ko sa misis ko. Tapos sabi niya, sige, try mo, ganyan. Lagay ako, 500 yen. Ang mahal nun 500 yen, guys. 500 yen. Lagay ako, 500 yen. Ikot. Pagbukas, sakto, Chucky. sabi ko, ay, ayos mukhang meant to be. So, yun ang kwento nun, guys. Oo, talagang yun, pinaghirapan ko yun. Pinaghirapan. Anyway, so yun ang kwento nun. Kaya talagang I have si Yusek Claire nun in mind nung nag-gashapon ako nun. Destiny, sabi ni Marsha Jenny. Destiny talaga. Baby, you're my destiny. Ayun, yun siya. Kaya Kaya inuwi ko siya. Tapos gusto pang kunin ng anak ko. Sabi niya, gusto, gusto naman niyang kunin. Sabi ko, no, this is for my friend. I'm going to give this for my friend. Sabi ko. Sa mapaloob ng anak ko. Sige, kuha ka pa isang gashapon. Bahala ka. Ito 500, mag-gashapon ka pa. So, yun. Anyway. Yun ang kwento nun, guys. Happy naman ako na happy rin si Yusek. Ay, nako. Anyway. Pagbalik ko ng Japan, baka magsabi na ako kasi busy yung misis ko, may gagawin siya. So, mag-isa lang ako. Oo. So, baka mag-imbita na ako ng mga pwede makasama. Ay, nako. Anyway, topic na tayo, guys. So, ito nga. Ito, pag-usapan natin to. Yung mga kaalyado ng Pilipinas, magtatayo daw ng ammunition facility sa Pilipinas. Yun ang balita. Magagalit yung mga pro-China dito, guys. Oo, yung mga galit na galit sa China. Tulad nung si Kuya na nasa China. May Annabelle. Hindi ko alam kung may Annabelle, pero ayun yung sigurado ako. May Jason Voorhees, si Freddy Krueger, si Bride of Chucky, si Chucky, tapos si Pinhead. Yan. Yun nga. Anyway. So yun nga. So, US-led defense manufacturing partnership agreed to launch a new missile motor production. Yung ano lang naman pala, hindi naman pala yung component lang ng missile. Missile motor production program with Japan push forward a drone cooperation effort across Asia and explore building a new ammunition production line in the Philippines. Yun yung sabi ng Pentagon. Alam niyo mga kababayan, recently, as in very, very recent, nagsabi si Donald Trump, sabi niya pull out na raw sila sa Iran. Hindi ko alam kung tutuloy niya. Pero kasi siguro dahil nando na yung mga ibang kaalyado niya, or baka nasiguro niya na, may kaalyado pa pala kami. so pull out na nila daw yung yung sa Iran. I'm thinking, naisip ko lang naman. I'm thinking, baka tututok na sila dito sa Indo-Pacific. Kasi malapit na mag-2027. Malapit na mangyari yung banta ni Xi Jinping. Oo. Di ba nagbabanta siya? 2027 daw, papasukin niya ang Taiwan. So, malapit na. So, baka unti-unti na nilang dinedevelop ang kanilang capability dito sa Indo-Pacific. Kasi tagal na nilang tagal na nilang iniwan tong Indo-Pacific Nakalimutan na yata. Oo. So, the Partnership for Indo-Pacific Industrial Resilience, known as PIPIR, is a group of nations working together to build up their weapons and defense manufacturing capacity in the Asia-Pacific region. The US set it up in May 2024 to reduce supply chain risks and help allies produce and maintain military equipment closer to where it might be needed. Ito yun Ito yung nakaka-trigger Ayan yung closer to where it might be needed. Might be needed daw, guys. Parang gusto kong kabahan. Di ba? Parang gusto kong kabahan, guys. Ako lang naman. Oo. May might be needed Ay, my goodness. The Pentagon published a joint statement following a virtual meeting on Wednesday where the group welcomed 2 new members, Thailand and United Kingdom, bringing this total membership to 16 countries spanning both the Indo-Pacific and Europe. Ayan, mga kababayan. Ako, sabi ko nga kanina, mga kababayan, happy ako na merong magnenegosyo sa Pilipinas. Kasi trabaho yan para sa ating lahat. Tsaka, pwedeng i-take advantage ni Presidente gawing capability building ng ating bansa, di ba? Mali na, alam nyo mga kababayan, ako personally, dapat nga nasa tayo we should be at the forefront of shipbuilding. Oo. Mm. Dapat tayo yung nangunguna pagdating sa shipbuilding, guys. Kasi ang dami nating dagat dito. Dapat tayo yung nangunguna dyan eh. Mm. I- sana i-develop ng Pilipinas yung shipbuilding capacity. Kasi, sa bagay yung drone manufacturing, pwede rin, di ba? Edel Toto Balduesa. Yung drones. Kasi mas madali gawin ng drones. Di ba? Mas madaling gawin ng drones eh. So, alam ko yung sa Cebu, Chona, Woolridge. Cebu. Meron sa Cebu eh. Ay, sa Subic. Oo. So, dalawa na pala. Pero dapat dagdagan pa kasi dalawa lang. Kasi di ba we are an island. So, we're an archipelago. So, it makes more sense kung shipbuilding ang ating industry. Kaso, wala eh. Wala eh. Wala. Ganun talaga. Ngayon pa lang inaasikaso ni Presidente, di ba? Anyway. Yung Hanjin, di ba, sa ano yan, James? Yung sa South Korea. But anyway. So, this is a good development, but scary development. Para sa akin good but scary. Good kasi may negosyo, may trabaho, sasahod ang mga Pilipino. Okay? So, good yan. Pero, scary kasi, syempre, ammunitions yan eh. Although parts lang naman of, it's a component lang naman of the weapons. Pero, syempre, di ba? Sana yung ano na lang. Oo. Sana maging safe tayo. Yun na lang. Pero meron kanina sa Saturday News Forum, nagsalita si si Powell ng Sea Light. Speaking of China, kasi may mga nag-comment dito kanina. Sabi, magagalit daw ang China sa Pilipinas. Speaking of China, ayan na. China is operating a massive influence operations in the Philippines. Eto na, mga babayan. 3 taong ko nang sinasabi to, guys. 2023 pa lang, sinasabi ko na to. Eto na, ulitin ko ulit. Kumpirmado na. Diba 2023 pa lang pinag-uusapan na natin to? Si United Front Work. Yan. Ngayon, lalo pa nilang tinibayan at nilakihan ang kanilang aktibidad dito sa Pilipinas. Ganun. Ito ang sabi ni Raymond Powell kanina sa Saturday News Forum. Panoorin natin sandali.
So, let's start with Ray Powell. Can you give us a background on Sea Light and what it is doing right now?
Sure. Thank you very much. I'll just read a brief statement, if that's okay. So I want to thank everyone for having me. I am Ray Powell. I'm the executive director of the Sea Light Foundation. We are a maritime transparency advocate and a nonprofit based in California. I actually want to begin today with a tribute to some personal heroes of mine, the officers and crew of the Philippine Coast Guard, and particularly of the VRP Suluan, whose change of command I was privileged to attend on Thursday. As you'll recall, on August 11th of last year, the crew held their course at Bajo del Masinloc, while much larger Chinese Navy and Coast Guard vessels bore down on them at high speed. And when those vessels collided with each other in the chase, the Suluan sailors immediately offered medical assistance. I'd like to repeat something I said last year. The world has never witnessed a Coast Guard that has routinely demonstrated the courage, resilience, devotion to duty, professionalism, and restraint that the men and women of the Philippine Coast Guard have displayed while standing up for their country's sovereign rights against overwhelming odds. Now, I raise this because the bravery of those sailors only makes sense when you understand the full scope of what they are up against. Beijing's goal is not merely to control the reefs and shoals in the West Philippine Sea. It is to convince the people of the Philippines to stop resisting, to accept Chinese control as a permanent fact of life. And for that, their campaign of maritime occupation depends on an equally aggressive campaign of political warfare right here in Manila. For the past several months, Sea Light has been investigating the machinery that lies deep behind that campaign. A network of interlocking organizations, all connected to the Chinese Communist Party's United Front Work Department, all operating here in the Philippines, though most Filipinos have never heard of them.
See? United Front Work, andito na sa Pilipinas, guys. Kwento ko lang kung anong ginagawa ng United Front Work. Pero para maikwento ko siya na maayos, kailangan bumalik tayo sa history. Noong panahon ni Magsaysay, tagal 'di ba? Ang tagal ng history binalikan natin. Nung panahon ni Magsaysay, mga kababayan, ang CIA ay nagkaroon ng operation sa Pilipinas. Yung operation na yon, mga kababayan, ang ginawa nun, ikinampanya nila si Magsaysay para maging pangulo. At hindi na sila umalis simula nun. Ang tawag dun sa grupo na yon, mga kababayan, NAMFREL. Oo. CIA ang nag-umpisa ng NAMFREL, mga kababayan. Pag yung nasa history natin yan, mga kababayan. Hindi yan fake news. It is part of our history. May mga documents ako dyan, if I'm not mistaken, na i-live stream ko na yan before. Matagal na. Oh. Ngayon, etong si CIA through NAMFREL or National Movement for Free Elections, iniimpluwensyahan niya yung mga botante ng Pilipinas. Kinumbinsi ang mga botante na ang dapat mong iboto ay si Magsaysay bilang pangulo. Yan. Kaya nga merong chismis, mga kababayan, na ang nagpa-crash din ng eroplano ni Magsaysay ay CIA din. Pero chismis lang 'yon, mga kababayan. Okay, chismis lang 'yon. Hindi natin alam kung sino talaga. But so yun, NAMFREL was initiated by the CIA. And then nung si President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. na ang naging presidente, at nung inoperate na siya ng Amerika, kasi yung US ayaw na siyang gawing kapartner dahil gusto na ni former President Marcos na maging independent ang Pilipinas, or kumalas na sa impluwensya ng Amerika at the time. Ang ginawa ng US, kumuha sila ng presidente na mas favorable for them, which is si Ninoy Aquino. Si Ninoy Aquino, mga kababayan, is actually para siya nag-double agent si Ninoy Aquino. Ang front niya para suportahan siya ng CIA ay siya yung liberal voice dito sa Pilipinas at kontra kay former President Marcos. Pero at the same time, siya rin ang nagtatag ng Communist Party of the Philippines. No, well, not Communist Party, pero member siya ng Communist Party of the Philippines. Oo. So parang dinoble agent niya si US. But going back, mga kababayan, nung panahon ng 1986 or 1981, if I'm not mistaken, 1981 hanggang 1986, inoperate na ng CIA through different groups sa Pilipinas, mostly liberal, inoperate na nila nasiraan si President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. Kung makikita nyo yung libro na Economic Hitmen, may kopya ako dyan dito sa likod ko, sa library ko sa likod. Yung Economic Hitmen, nandun yun. Nandun yun, Economic Hitmen. And also, one of the reasons kung bakit si Saba ay nawala sa Pilipinas ay dahil kay Ninoy din. Okay. So, going back, mga kababayan. So, noong 1986 snap elections, dito na ulit, so ino-operate na ng CIA si PBBM, si former President Marcos, from 1980 hanggang 1986. Noong 1986, binuhay ulit ng CIA ang NAMFREL. At kinampanya nila si Cory Aquino. Yun. At nung bilangan na, isa sila dun sa mga nanggulo sa bilangan ng eleksyon. Yun. So mga kababayan, tayo po sa Pilipinas, may history tayo ng US influence operation dito sa Pilipinas. At well, it is what it is, di ba? It's part of our history. Ngayon, mga kababayan, baliktad na. Baliktad na. Si US, wala na siyang influence operation sa Pilipinas. Because the Philippines is already traditionally an ally of the US. So kampante na si US pagdating sa Pilipinas na walang mangyayaring hindi niya gusto. Oo. Ngayon, mga kababayan, sino ngayon ang tumatrabaho sa Pilipinas? Kung ano yung ginawa ng CIA noon sa Pilipinas, si United Front Work naman ang gumagawa ngayon dito, present. Oo, bakit? Sino ba si United Front Work? Si United Front Work, mga kababayan, siya ay yung, you can call it a pet project ni Xi Jinping. Pet project niya yan. Bakit niya naging pet project? Kasi mga kababayan, siya ang nag-umpisa niyan ng United Front Work nung naging presidente siya ng China. At walang ibang ginagawa ang United Front Work kung hindi i-build up ang China sa lahat ng bansa kung saan tinatanim sila. Yun yung influence operation nila ngayon. Sa Pilipinas, mga kababayan, successfully nakapasok ang United Front Work through Rodrigo Duterte. Kasi prior to Rodrigo Duterte, mga kababayan, ang history ng Pilipinas, from Cory Aquino hanggang Pinoy, US tayo. US for the longest time. In fact, kung babalik pa tayo hanggang World War II, US tayo. And going farther, di ba, nung naging colony tayo ng Amerika. So, we have always been an ally of the US until etong si Rodrigo Duterte naging presidente at binenta tayo ni Rodrigo Duterte sa China. So, ngayon mga kababayan, ito yung sinasabi ngayon ni Ray Powell na yung United Front Work sa Pilipinas ay lumalaki na at nagiging obvious na sila at tumatapang na sila. Okay, yun ang sinasabi ngayon ni Ray Powell. Tuloy natin.
Connections are not a secret, but they are written in a language most Filipinos don't speak. They are in the organization's own publications, in Chinese state media, or in the Chinese embassy's own press releases. We simply started reading what they wrote about themselves in Mandarin. We began at the center of the campaign, where the connections to the Chinese Communist Party were clearest and the most plainly spoken. The Philippine Council for the Promotion of the Peaceful Reunification of China is one of more than 200 councils worldwide controlled by the CCP's United Front Work Department. Last October, the Council held a regional forum here in Manila, 300 delegates, 7 countries, congratulatory messages from Beijing's Taiwan Affairs Office, and
nagpunta pa pala dito, ang tindi, no? 300 delegates. Wala tayong kaalam-alam.
multiple Chinese provincial governments, with the Chinese embassy chargé d'affaires personally administering the new officer's oath of office. Among those in attendance was the chief editor of the United Daily News, one of Manila's most prominent Chinese-language newspapers, a man named Dong Bakui, who has simultaneously served as the Council's Secretary General since 2011. So for nearly 15 years and 7 board terms and 5 different presidents. That the editor of one of Manila's oldest Chinese-language news outlets is also the leader of its most important CCP-linked council is not an accident, because the Mandarin press has been one of Beijing's most important conquests here in the Philippines. Our January investigation documented Ambassador Jing Quan summoning executives of 8 Manila Mandarin language outlets, telling them to cooperate closely with the embassy and, quote, carry forward patriotism and love for the homeland. He was not talking about the Philippines. It's not just the media, however. Chinese language education has also been a particular target of the CCP. Since 1991, the Philippine Chinese Education Research Center has run what Beijing calls the Blood Transfusion Plan. Dispatching nearly 5,000 mainland Chinese teachers to the Philippines Chinese language schools through a United Front administered program. Unsurprisingly, the center's chairman, Huang Guanming, simultaneously holds a formal advisory position within the Reunification Council. And it was he who signed a letter, under his Filipino name, James Huang, requesting that public school classrooms here in Manila be open to a CCP-designed World War II anniversary essay contest, encouraging Filipino children to frame Japan as an enemy and write about the spirit of joint resistance. That request, exploiting Philippine public school children for Beijing's propaganda purposes, was approved, resulting in DepEd Regional Letter Number 107. We published that story in The Diplomat 2 weeks ago. Now, I want to be very, very clear about something. This is
Na-prove
not
yun?
about stigmatizing the Chinese Filipino community. Indeed, ethnic Chinese citizens worldwide are among the first victims of these United Front organizations. Their institutions have been infiltrated, their community organizations have been co-opted, and their voices have been claimed by a foreign power that does not represent them. Our investigations don't seek to target them. They instead target the hostile foreign state that seeks to take over those institutions and exploit them. So you might ask why a maritime transparency organization is investigating Mandarin newspapers and Chinese school curricula. The answer is that these are at the heart of what analysts now call FIMI, foreign information, manipulation, and interference operations. Beijing didn't start its influence campaigns on social media or in English language op-eds. It started inside the Chinese language institutions it has spent decades building or quietly taking control of right here in Manila. The Reunification Council, the newspapers, the Education Center, these are its core infrastructure. Everything else radiates outward. And that is exactly why the embassy works so hard, the Chinese embassy works so hard to silence anyone who looks too hard. Since January, it has issued 8 official statements attacking Sealight and me by name. Its ad hominem attacks have not disputed a single fact we presented. It has done the same to the Philippine critics and investigators, such as the PCIJ and journalist Regine Cabato, after their investigation into pro-Chinese propaganda. The Committee to Protect Journalists, Reporters Without Borders, and the National Union of Journalists have all rallied to their defense. I stand with PCIJ. I stand with Regine Cabato. I stand with all those who stand up to bullies and tell the truth without apology. The Philippines already has a model for how to respond. Its internationally celebrated maritime transparency campaign that made China's aggression at sea visible to the world. This same principle applies to malign foreign influence. As my podcast co-host Jim Caruso and I argued last month in an op-ed for the Philippine Star, a foreign influence transparency law, similar to Australia's, that simply requires organizations resourced by or operating at the direction of a foreign government should be required to declare it publicly. The Philippine Coast Guard's courage and devotion to duty is beyond reproach, but Beijing's campaign to violate the Philippine sovereign rights does not end at the shoreline. Its gray zone campaign at sea is tightly linked to its political warfare campaign here in Manila. Fighting back begins with clearly recognizing the threat. And thank you, and I'm happy to entertain your questions.
Let's open the floor for questions from media at this point.
Grabe.
Or would you like to ask questions from Mr. Ray Powell?
Good morning, Mr. Powell. I'm glad you have made some sort of expose about what the Chinese are doing here. And just to be specific, what these guys doing this, especially those people are maligning our institutions here. Anything that must be concrete? Can you kindly name them? Are you referring to that bakery over there in Kamuning?
Si Kamuning Bakery. Si Kamuning Bakery, notorious yan eh. Ano yung feeling ko nga baka United Front talaga yun eh. yung Kamuning Bakery na yung ginagawa nilang doon, parang press con every morning. Yung kapihan sa 'di ba? Kamuning Bakery, yun yata yun eh. Kasi doon lagi nagsasalita yung mga Chinese. May Chinese embassy doon, guys. Chinese ambassador nandoon nagsasalita. Diyos ko. Lala. Ang lala. Tapos, I mean, ewan ko na lang. Ewan ko na lang talaga. Oo. Kayo, mas tingin nyo sa Kamuning Bakery. Oo.
We are continuing our investigations. We decided to begin in the Chinese language space because that seemed to be the closest to the heart of the operation. So we are aware of the bakery operated by Wilson Lee Flores and others. The kinds of people who go to that forum, I think, are they're very clear in what their agenda is. And frankly, I want to say this. Everyone is free to have, in a democracy, which I believe the Philippines represents, everyone is free to have their opinions, and if their opinion is something that is closer to close cooperation with China, they should be free to have those opinions, I believe. Again, I'm not here to tell the Philippines how to run its democracy, but I believe in democracy, and I think freedom of speech and freedom of the press and all of those things are expressions of that. So what we're focused in on is just identifying where the Chinese government has extraordinary control and is resourcing and directing what is being said. So that is why we are beginning with the Philippine Council for the Promotion of the Peaceful Reunification of China, with the Philippine Chinese Education Research Center, and with these Chinese language media outlets who are clearly communicating propaganda that begins and appears to be directed by Beijing.
Do you sincerely feel that the Chinese are really spending a fortune you have any estimate on how much they spend here?
Yeah, I think.
It's not easy. It's a big project.
Well, I think it's it's important to begin with the fact that the propaganda ministry in Beijing, that the United Front Work Department, these are massive organizations. Of course, they have global reach. The Philippines is only one of many targets of its operations. I don't have an estimate as to how much they spend in the Philippines. I'm not really sure even how you would begin to count that. And of course, a lot of the funding is not visible to the public or to those who even do the investigations. I certainly would look forward to somebody who is able to do those forensics. And I want to be clear, we've only just started our investigations, and what we hope is to see a lot of other people sort of dig into this. I will also say that for those in the press, one of the things that has made it much easier now to look into these things has been the advent of AI, which can be an amazing research assistant if you tell it to search in Mandarin. If you say, I would like to know what has been said about this individual or by this individual in Chinese, you can actually open up a world. And again, that's part of why we're so interested in this space, because for decades, the Chinese language press, the Chinese language websites, all of these things have told the truth about themselves. It's just that nobody was paying attention because so many people here don't actually speak Chinese. And so, using AI to help do the research and to do and the translation has been extraordinarily helpful to us.
Delikado, di ba? Nakakatakot. Alam nyo, mga babayan, yung Chinese influence operation na yan, ulitin ko lang nag-umpisa yan nung panahon ni Digong. Kasi nga, si Digong, siya yung talagang humimod ng tumbong ni Xi Jinping. Oo, kulang na lang. Lunukin lahat ng pwedeng lunukin eh. Malala si Digong noon, mga kababayan. So, definitely, merong nangyayaring influence operation din sa Pilipinas. Ang tanong na lang, mga kababayan, is how deep is it? How extensive is it? At etong pinakamalalang tanong, how will it affect the election sa 2028? Hindi nyo napansin, mga kababayan, ngayong 2026 na nagagalit yung ilaw ko sa likod. Ayaw ng topic. Anyway, tawag dito. Hindi nyo napapansin, mga kababayan, ngayon nag-ingay ng sobrang ingay ang Chinese Embassy kung kailan malapit ng mag-eleksyon dito sa Pilipinas. Diba? Hindi niya pansin? Hindi niya napapansin na meron tayong senador na makapili? Hindi pala isa lang, marami. 9 silang senador na makapili. Oo. Hindi niyo napansin, mga kababayan, ang Chinese Embassy umiikot, nagra-rounds, mga kababayan. Obserbahan niyo ang balita. Obserbahan niyo ang balita. Una silang umikot sa media. Yung ambassador mismo, binisita lahat ng mga malalaking dyaryo dito sa Pilipinas. Inuna si Philstar, tapos si Manila Bulletin, si Manila Times, at yung ibang mga media outlets. Una. Pangalawa, pansinin nyo, mga kababayan, anong sunod na iniikot nila? Mga ahensya ng gobyerno. Pansinin nyo. Pansinin nyo. Nagka-courtesy call sila sa lahat ng ahensya ng gobyerno. Hindi ginagawa ng mga ibang ambassador yan. At, mga kababayan, etong pinakamatindi. May mga proyekto sila kasama si Sara Duterte. Di ba? Dinalo din ba si Magalong? Yan na. Sabi ni Nongski, hindi ba yun bawal? Kasi hindi naman bawal. Courtesy call lang naman eh. Pero ano nangyayari sa courtesy call? Bakit? Kapag after mag-courtesy call, nagiging China apologist. Ano nangyayari? Tulad ni Marcoleta. Bumisita pa siya mismo sa Chinese Embassy. Siya pa, ang kauna-unahang politiko na bumisita sa Chinese Embassy. Hmm. Di ba? Siya pa kauna-unahan. So, alam nyo mga kababayan, hindi natin alam kung ano nangyayari behind closed doors. Pero definitely, may nangyayari. Mm. At siguro, kutob ko lang naman to mga kababayan. Etong effort na to ng China is it hits two birds with one stone. First, mga kababayan, bumubuo siya ng mindset kung saan ang Pilipinas ay mabait naman pala ang China, okay lang siguro sila sa West Philippine Sea. Ganun. Okay lang siguro, wag na natin pansinin yung sa West Philippines, mabait naman sila eh. Diba? Eh si Marcoleta. Imbento lang naman natin yung West Philippines eh. Isuko na natin yung Kalayaan Island Group. Wala naman tayong historical basis, fake si Tomas Clome eh. Diba? Alam niyo mga kababayan, umingay lang ng ganyan si Marcoleta. Actually, one time last year, ginamit niya yan para maging senador siya. Pero, nung senador na siya, hindi naman niya ginawang issue yan. Oo. Ngayon lang, pagkatapos niyang makausap yung bagong ambassador ng China, saan nagaganyan si Rodante Marcoleta. So, mapapaisip ka ngayon, ano nangyari? What happened behind closed doors? Baka may bagong donasyon, guys, na hindi isinasama sa salin. Baka may bagong donasyon, guys. Oo, 1 milyong wig. Joke. Isang wig, bagong wig everyday. Diba? So mga kababayan, I guess it's time. Kaya po to itinapik kasi kailangan na po natin maging aware. Kailangan na po nating malaman ang galawan ng ginagawa ng Chinese Communist Party. Kasi kung hindi ho tayo magiging aware, kung hahayaan lang ho natin na magbulag-bulagan tayo sa ginagawa ng China sa Pilipinas, baka magulat na lang tayo one of these days, wala na tayong control sa West Philippines. Magulat na lang tayo, bukas makalawa, yung West Philippine Sea, punong-puno na ng military islands ng China. Hindi lang yon mga kababayan. More importantly, kailangan nun nating matutunan na ipaglaban yung soberenya natin. Alam nyo yung nakakainis dyan? May mga Pilipino na kinakagat yung kalokohan ng China not because they believe in what China is saying. Hindi dahil sa naniniwala sila sa sinasabi ng China. Kinakagat nila yung sinasabi ng China kasi Dutertard sila. Dahil kay Digong, dahil kay Sara, at dahil sa mga senador na supporter ni Digong. I mean, wala nang mas bulag pa dun, guys. Oo. Wala nang mas bubulag pa dun. Bulag na bulag ka dun. Kasi kaya ka lamang sumusuporta sa China, hindi dahil sa mabuting nagagawa nito sa bansa mo, kundi dahil gusto lang ng politiko na idol mo. Kung nasing katangahan yun. And mga kababayan, eto nga kinakatakot ko eh. Diba, pinawalang sala ni pangalan na ito, ni George Erwin Garcia, si Marcoleta, doon sa kanyang hindi pagde-declare ng donasyon sa eleksyon. Diba? Pinawalang sala eh. Alam nyo, mga kababayan, kung ganun at ganun din lang naman pala, wala nang paraan para ma-check natin kung totoo ba o maganda ba ang ginagawa ng tama ba ang donasyon na natatanggap ng ating mga kandidato. Alam nyo kung bakit? Bawal ho kasi yun eh. Bawal ho tumanggap ng donasyon galing sa isang foreign company or foreign agency for election. It's an election offense. Ngayon, sa ginawa ng COMELEC, lahat ng senador, lahat ng Manchurian candidate ay magkakaroon na ng palusot. Popondohan sila ng China bago sila maging tawag dito. Bago sila maging kandidato, bago ang campaign period. Tapos, kapag hindi nila dineclare, ang sasabihin lang nila, wala, hindi naman ako kandidato during the time. Tinanggap ko yung bigay ng China. Hindi naman ako kandidato during the time. Di ba? So, yun. Kaya itong delikado ho yung election natin dito. At isa pong napakalaking kawalangyaan ng ginawa ni George Erwin Garcia. No joke. No joke. Ngayon, simple-simple na lang gagawin ng China. Babayaran lang yung kandidato, donasyon kunyari sa kampanya, hindi na natin kailangan i-declare. Oo, kasi hindi naman mapaparusahan ng kriminal eh. Pero na lang gagawin nila. Sana makarating yan kay Senator Ping Lacson. Para pangunahan na niya yung pag-amyenda sa batas ng tawag dito, RA 7166. Para magkaroon uli ng ngipin yung ating election code. Sana meron pang senador diyan na maayos or congressman na maayos na mag-uumpisa nito. Kasi delikado talaga yung 2028 national elections. Lalo na sa ginawang kabalbalan nito ni George Erwin Garcia, mga kababayan. No joke. So, sana po maayos nila. Okay. So, mga kababayan, hanggang dito lang po muna tayo sa ating live stream. Oo. Huwag nyo kakalimutan na mag-subscribe dito po sa Coach Giant Live YouTube channel at magkita-kita po tayo sa susunod na live stream, guys. Bye, everyone. See you next time. Bye. As senator judges, it is your obligation na dapat present ka sa mga proceedings. Hindi naman sakop ng trabaho ng Office of the Ombudsman na magpa-disqualify sa 2028. I-identify na natin lahat ng Manchurian candidates. Tigil-tigilan na natin yung kalokohan natin.